Remember when most of Europe went totally green? And it didn't take too long to show that was a complete disaster. Well, one US state just did the equivalent of, hey y'all, watch this. It's the end of an era. The very last shipment of coal has arrived in Hawaii. Hawaii might be the first US state to go entirely green. They're trying to use only renewable energy. So the last coal plant will be shutting down. Therefore, this last delivery of coal is all they will ever need. Hawaii put this law into place several years ago, and it's finally being finalized. The problem with coal is that it is extremely cheap, and they need Hawaiians to pay more for energy. Well, that's not the stated goal, but that will be the outcome. In reality, coal is cheap, but they consider it dirty fuel, so it has got to go. But simply because it is so cheap, and they are replacing it with something that's not as cheap, by definition, they will be paying more for power. The governor of Hawaii said, quote, "In its time, coal was an important resource for Hawaii, and I'd like to thank the workers who have run our last remaining coal plant." End quote. Ouch. Hey, sorry you lost your job. Oh, and by the way, prices are going up. Too bad. He also said, and I quote, "Renewable energy projects to replace coal are coming online, with more on the way." End quote. Wait, what? They're coming online? Meaning they are not already online? Hey, governor, you got some splaining to do. So according to local news, KHON2, the replacement power plants are delayed with unexpected global events with supply chain issues. But they're still shutting down that coal plant. Okay, so they have been tapering off coal for years now. So how much coal does Hawaii actually use? Well, depends. Normal power usage, day to day, about 10% comes from coal, about 180 megawatts. But during peak times, it could be up to 16%, or a little more. Peak times, when you really need it, like hot days where air conditioning is necessary. So HECO, that's Hawaii Electric Company. The vice president of HECO, Jim Kelly, suggests, get this, quote, "really be embracing the idea of conservation, especially during peak hours between 5 p.m. and 9 p.m. Don't be cranking on the air conditioner, taking long showers, running the oven, or whatever else that requires electricity and water." End quote. So get this. During dinner time, don't run the oven. And don't take a shower after getting home from work. I can't imagine how he said this with a straight face. He's just pure evil or just stupid. All right, let me give you a little background. I used to live in Hawaii. I worked in hotels. A funny thing happens at hotels in Hawaii. Tourists, and there are millions of them, they spend all day at the beach, or hiking through the rainforest, or golfing, or whatever. However, right around sunset, and I mean all of them, go back to their hotel rooms, crank the AC, take a shower, and get ready for dinner. They do this every day, and always at the same time. You can set a watch by it. So Hawaii just killed their main power plant, and they're hoping that batteries and solar and wind will just fill in the gaps. But wait, it gets funnier. 1 year ago, Hawaii was stunned to learn that the green facility, which is replacing the Kapolei coal plant, the 185 megawatt Kapolei energy storage facility, will be charging its enormous battery with oil. In other words, Hawaiians will be trading one fossil fuel, coal, for another, albeit one that's far more expensive. I was just about ready to wrap this up, and I found another source that gave me some info that filled in some holes in this story. The battery farm backup was scheduled to be complete in June 2022. It's late, but get this. It's an 8-acre lithium battery. Lithium that needs to be mined out of the ground at an extreme expense from people who aren't terribly friendly to us right now. Lithium is also the same kind of batteries that Tesla uses. If they catch on fire, they're nearly impossible to put out and extremely toxic. Well, they have an 8-acre field full of them. So I also found a timeline chart for energy going online and offline. You might need to pause this and increase the size to see it clearly, but it is the best image I could find. Red arrows are fossil fuel going offline. Purple arrow is the storage battery. Yellow is green energy sources that will be going online in the future. If they don't get delayed. I will assume that fossil fuel goes offline on schedule, no matter what. I also learned, according to my best source, Hawaii currently only produces about 35% of its energy with renewables. I have no idea where their power is coming from in the very near future. This sure seems like it's going to be a shit show. One last thing. Want to know what the current governor studied in college? He earned a Bachelor of Science degree in electrical engineering, so everything will be fine. This is government planning at its best. If you ever wanted to visit Hawaii, you better plan on doing it soon. It might look like Sri Lanka before too long.